My name is Carlos Walker. This is Art and Hustle, Black Authors Matter, and today we have Miss Nicole Point de Jour.
There you go.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Blessed and highly favored, Carlos.
I love the way you said that. So,
Mhm.
before we start, if you will, share a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Awesome. So I'm Nicole Point du Jour, former 21-year Wall Street executive. What I do now is I connect people to corporate sponsorships and opportunities to help them grow and scale their business. I also have a community where I help executives and entrepreneurs grow and scale by bringing on experts every month to help you in every area of business, whether that's marketing, trademarking, AI, business funding, like all the things that you need as an entrepreneur to grow and scale. We talk about that in the community. And I have an expert that comes on to help us with that every month.
One, thank you for what you do because scaling a business is important to our community, especially ours, but for
Mhm.
anybody's community. But I've noticed that a lot of our businesses, we struggle maybe growing or exploding, or better yet, what E.T. Eric Thomas told you,
Yeah.
soaring.
So, yeah, that's my
So,
buddy. Mhm.
so
Mhm.
um, if you will, you also an author, right?
I'm an author, yes. And look, I have the book here just so you can see. Hopefully, you guys get it. Yes, the book. It's matching your outfit, the blue and gold. The Master Connector, the ultimate guide to building impactful connections for life and business success. So in this book, I drop all the gems and tips that I use to get me from the inner cities of New Jersey all the way to Wall Street as an equity trader and investment banker.
Mm. What made you start it? What made you create the book?
That is a great question. So, all my life, my family, more specifically, my father always told me I need a book. So, I'm the first person in my family to go to college. I'm the first person in my family to obtain an MBA. I had my master's degree at 23 years old and was working on Wall Street at 21, right out of undergrad. Thank you. Yeah. So I graduated with a 4.0 with my MBA and ended up on Wall Street in New York City. And just I've been privy, and all thanks to God, giving the glory that He's been putting me in certain rooms and giving me access and just putting me to places that most people said I couldn't go. Right, as a
Mhm.
young Black girl from the inner cities who the family didn't go to college, and for me to end up on Wall Street in these executives rooms with these Ivy Leaguers at 21 years old was a blessing. But I talk about my journey and how I ended up there. Like, like if I can do it, you can do it. Right, growing up, I didn't see I didn't see me being on Wall Street. I didn't even know what Wall Street was, right? Because that's not talked about in the inner cities and equity trading and private equity finance and investment. Like we didn't have those conversations. And so that when I got there, I would see that different rooms had different people in them and the deals were getting done in certain areas and just the information and knowledge. And so I wanted to write a book. Like one, my father was always telling me you need to write a book, but to tell my story of how I built these relationships, how I use these connections to get me from where I started to where I am today and the value of it. And so like the top three things that I tell people, and this all, again, everything's in this book, and I tell people to network. The top three things you need to do that are very important that will help you. One is lead with value.
Mhm.
I'm around a lot of high profile people. When people come to them, the first thing, like you mentioned, my friend ET, the first thing they say is, "Can you help me with speaking? Can you help me do this? Can you help me?" They always come to them with an ask for themselves, right? One, the person doesn't really know you, and two, you have to think about it. The higher status they have, the more ask they have from people that already know them. So when you lead with value, you set yourself apart from the 90% because you're coming with something that most people don't ask them. You need to ask the other person, how can I help you? Start
Mhm.
with helping somebody before you come with your own ask. So you're adding value. The second thing is following up. So a lot of times we go to different networking events or anywhere you're at. If you meet somebody, people just put their numbers in their phone and never call them. Follow up within 24 to 48 hours. That is so important. Most people forget to follow up, and then there's a relationship or connection loss. And the third thing I tell people is do good business. I always try to make that number one because that's the most important part when you do get this opportunity. If you do a good job, that's free marketing for yourself
Mhm.
because people are going to tell their friends about you and what you're doing. But I wrote this book again with all the tips on how to get to where we're getting to, like faster. And some people, Angela Yee wrote the forward for my book. Ian Dunlap gave me a quote in the book. Yandy Smith Harris gave me a quote. Egypt Sherrod, Cynthia Bailey, my girlfriend Felicia Butterfield. So these are all prominent people that some of you guys may know, but they wrote in the book of how I've helped them grow their connections and get the opportunities and deals. And so that's what I wanted to share with you guys. But the book is very important. So, and sorry to take us off track because I wanted to say this
Oh,
also.
good.
My father always said to write a book, right? And I do these events called In the Room Where the Deals Are Done. And so at each event, I interview a multimillionaire that has made it to give us their career trajectory. And I bring together corporate executives, industry leaders, influencers, people that are doing their thing in their community, all in one room called The Room Where the Deals Are Done. And God gave me the vision for this in 2024. And he's like, you're going to create this room. So I created this room and I was getting ready to interview E.T. He was my next celebrity guest that I was interviewing. And I remember my dad saying, you need a book. And I was talking to Ash Cash, who specializes in helping people.
That's my brother.
Yeah, it's good people. He specializes in getting books done. Like if you want to get a book and you tell him your idea, like he helps you figure out the title and just get, help you with the cadence. So I called Ash Cash and I said, hey, Ash, after I get done with this ET event in March 14th, and I called him in the middle of January, just keep that in mind, that date, right? After I get done with this ET event, I want to work on a book and tell my story because people always want to hear my story of how I ended up on Wall Street as an equity trader from the inner cities of Jersey. And so he said, wait, did you say ET? I said, yeah. He said, he's a New York Times bestseller. I said, okay. And then he's like, and you also said Amazon is sponsoring your event. So that my third event that I did, I got sponsored by Amazon to produce the event. Yeah, I know. My 6-month-old business, I was able to show the value and get Amazon to come on as well as Puma. So he said, Nicole, you're interviewing a New York Times bestseller and you're sponsored by Amazon. Like you have to have this book done before then because that's a no-brainer. Your book will be sold on Amazon, right? And so I said, well, this is January and books take a long time. And I'm already planning, like I'm in the middle of planning this event as well. And so he always says success loves speed, stay ready. So you have to get ready. So I spent the next 72 hours working and figuring out what should be in the book. At first it was 24 chapters, which was a lot. Then I said, that's too much information. Let me narrow it down to what's the most important. And then we got down to 12 chapters, but each chapter has connection gems in there, tools that will help you. But that's how we launched a book within, I want to say like 60 days of telling my story. I know Ash put the fire under me and I'm like, I launched a book at my event with ET. ET said a few words for me with launching the book. So it was really good.
One, I'm always thankful for Ash Cash. That's the big brother. I'm grateful that you wrote the book. 60 days. I'm glad he put fire behind you because one, books are important. The information that we gather and we hold that we don't even know that we have that we should share is important. This is one of the reasons why I am a prominent believer of people sharing their stories because you impact somebody. But two, because the information that no one gave you the information. You had to walk the mile. What they get to get the mile done a lot faster.
Yeah, I tell them the cheat code. I really put the cheat code in this book on how to get to it. You need to get it faster. Yes.
That is, to me, that is, and you said my favorite word, that is what books are. If anybody has ever played video games or anything, when you pick up the right book, you just picked up the cheat code of how to get there faster. And a lot of people these days read books, especially in our community. A lot of people are reading way more, but our youth really need to understand the power of reading. You can pick up a book. To me, the Bible, one of my favorite books, it has cheat codes to life. But not only just the Bible, any book that you pick up, information. And if you're reading, what happens is you get to pick up somebody's information, how to be a millionaire. Somebody that wrote the book. Pick up the book so you can learn how to manage money, how to do things. But that is what your book is going to do for many, because they are going to grab the cheat codes that you have put in your book to get them to success a lot faster. But you had to walk the mile, and I'm grateful that you chose to create.
Thank you.
What has the journey been?
You were saying the Bible. So I'm going to say the Bible is, I told you on one of our previous calls that I challenged myself to read the Bible cover to cover this year. And if you read just 3 pages a day, you can complete it. If you start January 1st to December 31st. And the Bible is juicy, y'all. It has some stories in there. Like I never thought that I would be in it. Sometimes I don't even put it down. So you're right. Like that's one of my favorite books too. It gives you the cheat code to life and letting you know it will be okay, right? And so as long as you stay obedient and do the things you're supposed to be doing. But you were saying, what has a journey been like?
What has the journey been like as an author?
So actually, you know what's so funny? So I always prided myself on being a Wall Street executive, right? Like that was my claim to fame. That was my badge of honor that I wore. Now it's like I'm a servant of God. I literally told my husband today, somebody was asking me what I did yesterday, and I was like, I work for God, right? And it's just funny. It sounds interesting, but literally he's my boss in this entrepreneurial space where he guides and leads me and gives me the trajectory of what I need to be doing and being obedient to serve his people. But what it's been like when I was becoming an author, Ash Cash, because Ash Cash used to work in finance too. He was like, people don't really care what you did. When you say you're an author, that has a certain level of credibility behind it. And I didn't realize that until I became an author. So even like on my Instagram, I had to change, like I'm a public speaker and an author. So the journey's been great. I do love the fact that I get asked to speak at a lot of different conferences and a lot of different events. And they let me bring my book because I usually share my story when I'm on stage and talk about the value of growing your network, how to grow your community, how to lead with value. And so all those tips, again, like I said, is in this book. And so I like the journey that I have a tangible product to give somebody, because 90% of my business is my intellectual property, where I'm educating and training people and showing them how to grow and scale their business. But to actually give you a product with all the gems in it, where it's a cheat code, is a blessing. So the journey's been the journey's been good.
One, you had to push your book out in 60 days. That most people don't do that. So
I know I didn't think I could do that. I was like, wait,
I'm gonna tip my
what?
hat because that's phenomenal. But two, you also piggybacked on something else that I always share with people. Books don't have to be this big.
Mhm.
Don't give everybody everything at one time. It's too much to digest. So for you to go from 24 to 12 chapters, you're giving them enough that they can start the basics. And then, hey, you already know she gonna have a part two because she got 12 more chapters that wasn't in the first book. But you're able to digest this
Mhm.
at the right pace. So
Mhm.
one, y'all go get her book. Make sure y'all go look, pour into my sister because she got something. She has a story. And according to the Bible, it says in Revelations 12 and 11, and they overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. Her testimony of how she got here is going to inspire y'all no matter what it is you do. But if you want to get into equity and finances, guess what? She's the one to go to.
If you want to get in any room, I'm the one to go to, because I tell people, like, when I got on Wall Street, I wanted to give back and go back to the schools I went to and in the inner cities and colleges. And they were like, oh, we can't do what you did because and I'm like, I wasn't the best student growing up. I was very smart, but I would cut school. I'm just being transparent. Like, I wasn't going to class. I was doing whatever Nicole wanted to do, but I could pass the test because I knew that I was smart. But it wasn't until I got to college where if you don't go to class, you will get a D, right? And so like I had to start going to class. And then my friend, which is it, I talk about this story in the book. I had a friend in college that was from the suburbs of Virginia, and they would put her name in a plaque in our business school. And I said, how is your name in this plaque? And she goes, oh, you just have to be on the dean's list. I told y'all I'm the first person to go to college in my family. I didn't even know what a dean's list was. And so the dean's list is where if you get A's and B's, is the honor roll, basically, where they put your name in the plaque to congratulate you. I knew I was smart, and I'm like, I want my name in the plaque. So I started sitting in the front of the class. That's how I was able to graduate with a 3.8 in undergrad and a 4.0 in grad, because I applied myself. And from there, thank you. And I got opportunities. And I tell people all the time, this is so important for the students. You have to get good grades, because when you're in school, that's all that they can go off of. So to get into the best colleges, you have to get good grades and you have to have extracurricular activities. You have to show that you're a leader. And when you get in college, to get those opportunities at these major Fortune 500 companies, you have to graduate at the top of your class and have extracurricular activities. It's not just enough for us to go to college and graduate, because that's what we're taught. Like, just go to school, graduate. No, you have to get those good grades. I would have not ended up on Wall Street if I didn't graduate at the top of my class. I promise you. Because to get into the investment banking program that I got into, you had to have a 3.8 in undergrad with your master's degree. Then that's how they weed out the fat, right? So we want us to have our own decisions and not to make decisions for us. So if we're coming with the best grades and the best strong suit of what we can do, you know, we have a foot in the race, versus if I graduated 2.0, the top Fortune 500 companies aren't checking for me. They're checking for my counterparts and my other classmates that did the extra to get the better grades.
I'm glad you actually said that, because a lot of me, I was smart, could pass a test just like that, didn't apply myself. Matter of fact, didn't graduate till I turned 21. Crazy
Mm,
story. Got kicked out of school 3 different times.
mm.
Yeah, I was a alien. However, God still allowed me to graduate.
Amen. Amen.
Two, um, you already know most of my story. I didn't go to college until I was in prison.
Mm.
And I didn't even finish because I got kicked out of prison. Thank God. Yeah, look, God had a plan. But what I will say is, as you just said, Nicole, grades for those that want to go to school. You can go to
Mhm.
school for free
Yeah.
if your grades are right.
Yeah.
If you're doing the extracurricular activities, I didn't even know how important the extracurricular activities were to just now when you said it.
Mm-hmm.
So a debate team, not just sports, any other
Mm-hmm.
thing. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
need no. This is for the youth that's in school and for those that are in college. You're giving them the game right now. Most of this may
Mm-hmm.
not be. I think you did say some of this is in the book, but if it's not, she just gave you another hint, another part that you can put into action. Remember, application is going to be how you get to where she's at.
Yeah. Another gem I wanted to drop, and thank you for that, is the career service. So if you're in college, every university has a career service department. I wasn't aware of them, but because I was on the dean's list every semester, the service lady came and found me. And this is in the
Mhm.
book. And she said, you have a 3.8 GPA, you need an internship. And I'm like, again, I'm the first person to go to college in my family. I don't even know what an internship is. I'm like, I'm working at Old Navy. I'm making $7.50 an hour, thinking I'm doing something. I'm about to get a raise. And she's like, no, you need an internship, which is free. And I'm like, no, you want me to work for free? I'm over here making my $7. This is back in 2004 or 3, y'all. But anyway, and so she educated me on internships. And my first internship was nationwide in the HR department,
Mm.
and I got to walk into an office instead of walking into a mall. And it just did something to my confidence. And I had a desk, and I was in charge of helping the people with their new onboarding employees. And so I was like, oh, I like this. And then when Wachovia merged with Prudential in New York, the people from New York didn't want to come to Virginia. That's why I went to college. They offered college students that majored in business, finance, and economics an opportunity to interview at their organization, but you had to have a 3.5 GPA. Again, it goes back to those grades. And so because I had the 3.5 GPA and I was a business major, I got the opportunity to interview for this role. And I didn't even know what the job was, y'all. The job was brokerage operations specialist. And I was like, what is that? I don't even know what that is, Carlos. And so she said, just interview for us. You can get skills. So she pushed me. It's always a blessing when you find somebody that believes in you, even when you don't believe in yourself, to push you to go further. Just like Ashcast said, you got to get this book out. And I'm like, no, I need a year. But he pushed me and saw something greatness in me. And so she pushed me. And when I graduated college, I had 2 job offers, one at Nationwide where I was interning, and one at Wachovia Securities, which is the brokerage operations specialist, which I still didn't know what that title was. But Wachovia Securities was giving me a $3,000 upfront signing bonus. So I said, I'm going to take this check and figure out what this is when I get there. And that was the first time I ever saw a comma in my check, Carlos. I had to call my parents. I was like, yo, there's a comma in my check. Do y'all what happens? I never seen a comma because coming from the Old Navy, making $7.50 an hour to get in a $3,000 bump, like it just really changed the career trajectory for me. And a brokerage operations specialist was, when I got the opportunity, was you're brokering trades between the equity trader on the front, and you're in the middle office, and then you're helping the back end settle the trade. So you're the middleman between the trading desk and the back office. So I learned it when I got there, but it was just interesting. Like, one, I'm grateful for the career service lady taking a
An
liking to
interest,
me. Yeah,
yes.
interest. Yeah. And like I said, I tell that story in the book because it's so important. I had the grades. I tell you, I get the good grades. And so she tapped on me because I was on the dean's list.
That set you up, or I would like to say God set you up for
Amen.
many, many different things. But God brought the right people in your life
Yes.
at the right time. Even when you may not have known what was going on, now you can always go back through your story and see how God did this. But like you said, you put it in the book. I'm grateful once again that God brought Ask Cash to push you to create the book, because now people could understand relationships,
Mm-hmm.
how to leverage your relationships.
Yes.
This is one thing that you're doing right now, even in your business today. You're still leveraging relationships. You
Yes.
just spoke
Relationships.
about how Amazon, how Puma, how these businesses, you're just doing using the same information that you learned throughout this journey,
Mm-hmm.
but you're using it or applying it for your own business now.
Mm-hmm.
So one I want to thank you for being a great steward.
Mm.
The Bible speaks about stewardship, but normally when it talks about it, it's talking about finances. But you learn how to be a good steward financially, relationship. I was told your
Network.
network is your net worth.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand it more now than I did then, because if somebody got $1 million, I ain't got to have it. They got it. All I got to be able to do is nurture my relationship. And what they have is beneficial for me. But it's a blessing to be able to understand the principles that you're given, but also the fact that you wrote a book to give away gems. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
go purchase this book.
Thank you.
I'm gonna continue to repeat this because y'all need the book. And she done already gave up some of look, uh, just a piece of the information that she's been gifted to give to you.
Yeah.
So
I tell
before
people
we,
all the time, Carlos, because you're one connection away from changing your life.
mm,
One connection away from changing your life. You see how I ended up on Wall Street from that one connection from the career service lady saying I had the grades to interview for that changed my life. Doc Ashcast telling me to get my book out before I interview ET changed my life, right? So it's like you're one connection away from changing your life. And I talk about that in the book, The Power of Relationships. You're one connection away from changing your life.
to be honest, I don't even believe you were talking to them just then. I actually look, no lie, in my soul, I felt it. I felt like you was talking to me just then.
I'm talking to you and them. We use a group.
Yeah, I know, but I made this personal. Look, forgive me, y'all. Look, but thank you. Before we go, I do want you to do something funny.
Okay.
Give them a word of wisdom.
Mm.
And last, let them know where they can find your book. And matter of fact, I probably ought to ask this question before you answer those. Did you self-publish? Is it done with a publishing company? Which
Yeah,
route did you
yeah.
go?
So I self-published. And so like I said, I work with Ash Cash. He educated me on the publishing game, how to sell the books. He had a whole marketing plan for me. Like, so he was really good. So I'm glad that I was able to work with him because he guided me through this process. I did work with another person, Nicole, to edit the book for me because editing is a huge part of a book. And she just was really good at going through it and like helping me make sure I had all of my T's, my T's crossed, my I's dotted in the periods. But I am self-published, so that was really good. Again, I think the gym for me is like I just said, is you're one connection away from changing your life. But I want people to know. I always tell people to just start. You have what you need. Just start. So many people come to me with all these ideas and all these different things, but they don't execute. Like Ashkash could have came to me and said, "You need a book right now," and I could be like, "Oh yeah," and I could push it off. No, I execute it. That's if I'm not known for anything else in this world, I'm known as an executionist. If something is in front of me, I will execute. The fact that I was able to get Amazon and Puma to sponsor my 4-month-old business is huge, right? It's huge. But I executed, right? So it's all about executing. God gave me a vision to put that room together, and I was like, okay, God, I hear you. You wake me up at 3 and 4 every morning talking about this this in the room thing, and I execute. So the biggest thing I want to leave you guys with is you're one connection away from changing your life, but you have to execute, meaning do something differently than what you were doing yesterday. ET just said to me on the call the other day, and not to make this long, but he was saying, you tell people Happy New Year, and your year's not going to be new if you're doing the same old things. So to make it an official Happy New Year, you have to do something new. So again, you have to execute on those plans that you've been writing now for 5 and 10 years, or this idea that you had. Just start and just work at it every single day. And I wanted to say something else. I don't know how much time we have, but
Go ahead.
Okay. So ET was educating me on the African wild dog. And so I wasn't familiar with that concept. He calls me because I'm helping him with something. Again, I always lead with value. I'm a servant leader. How can I help you? And we're talking about sponsorship. I can just talk big level with you guys. And I was telling him he's been self-funding his own events for his whole life. And I'm like, we go further together. You need to get corporate sponsorships to back what you're doing because you bring the community together. You have a positive product. You're changing lives. When people hear ET, they always tell me two things. He
Life
changed my
changing.
life. He saved my life. Literally
Mm,
those two things. So you need to have organizations backing what you're doing. Yes, you can. Yes, it's amazing. You're in a position to have your own money to do this. But with more support, we go further together. Like that would make you get to the next level, right? So he calls me and said, Nicole, I trust you. You're a part of my African wild dog pack. And I'm like, what is that? Because I was not familiar with that. In the jungle, most people think about the lion and the tiger that can kill you. The African wild dog pack has like a 90% success rate. And the reason that they do is because they operate together. So they all have a distinctive skill that they're really, really good at.
mm,
And they operate in a pack, but they're all going the same direction. So in ET's pack, I'm his financial corporate sponsorship person where I'm going to help him shift his mindset to say, let's partner with these organizations to get you to where you need to be. Then he has somebody that, that may help him with marketing. Like every person is good at a certain skill, but you work together for the greater good, right? So
mhm.
like Carlos may be good at public speaking or talking to authors or authoring a booklet. So I would put him in my wild dog pack for that. But working further together in the African wild dog system is how you succeed and get things done. You build that correct tribe around you. But that was just on my heart to share with you guys. I know the one nugget for me is you're one connection away and just start and execute. But build your African wild dog pack. Figure out who should be in your tribe to get you to the next level.
There's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast,
Go alone.
go alone. You want to go far,
Go together.
get your pack.
Get your pack. Yeah.
So, with that said, I do want to tell you thank you, thank you, thank you for your time. For
Mm,
you don't know me, I just reached out to you and I asked you, hey, could I interview you? And you did this. You
awesome.
don't really know how important that is to me because I
Mm,
interview authors, black authors. Let me make sure I correct this. I interview black authors for a reason, and especially during Black History Month. At one time, they wouldn't let us read nor write, and here
mm,
we are reading and writing at an exponential level. And for me, God has blessed us with the opportunity to empower and impact other people, not just our people, but all people. And
mhm,
through our writing, we get to document and leave stories, leave history. You left your story in a book for
mhm,
somebody to read this later on, or read this while we still here and be
mhm.
empowered by it. So thank you once again for answering the call.
Yeah, and thank you. And let me just give you your flowers. So when so many people reach out to me on social media and ask me for just random things, right? And you reach out to me on social media because I even asked, how'd you find me? He said, if you follow positive things and positive people, that's what pops up in your feed. So I popped up in your feed, and then I have my team have a conversation with you to figure out what was the best place point, for us to move forward. And I said, well, and he gave my team member Ebony gave such rave reviews about you that I said, well, let me talk to him. And we were on the phone for almost an hour because we talking about God. God brought us together. When two or more are gathered, He is in the midst, right? And
Ha!
so I was blown away by like hearing your story and what you're doing for your community and how you're a servant leader and how you want to give back and how you're winning souls for God. Like that just touched my heart. So I said, I gotta get on and do your podcast. But yeah, you are doing great work. You showed me 14,000 books that you have, how you have support in getting them out, how, like you said before, we couldn't read, but this is what your mission is. So I just want to give you your flowers, Carlos. Keep going, keep executing, keep winning souls for Christ, keep educating us, keep bringing on Black authors to spotlight them so that other people can know about their books. So I'm just proud of you. So I just want to give you your flowers while I'm on this call. Like you're doing great work. And you guys can find me, because I know you asked where you can find me, is my website's at the bottom here is www.themasterconnectoragency.com. My Instagram is themaster_connector. So again, that's at the master, one word, _connector. That's where you can find me on Instagram. And then again, the book is on the website. Hopefully, you guys want to get it. It's the cheat code to getting further in life, scaling your business, and building those powerful, impactful relationships that's going to get us to the next level.
Not just hopefully, y'all go get that book. Let me tell you why. She's giving you the jewels that you need to be successful. So, with that said, my name is Carlos Walker. This is Art and Hustle, Black Authors Matter, and this is Miss Nicole Point de Jour.
There you go.
Peace and blessings. Love
Thank
y'all.
you.